We know that there is potential for more adverse weather tonight, particularly in the northern parts of the region.
So around Warkworth, Wellsford and the hill country in that vicinity. We are under heavy rain watch till 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. We also have a risk of downpours and Met Service has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for the north of the region, north of Orewa.
If the ground's saturated to the levels that they are, that kind of rainfall event could definitely cause problems, landslips and surface flooding.
From about dawn tomorrow, Monday, it's a rest day, a reprieve day, a drier day. Use Monday to clean up, get yourself sorted out. The reason why is that we are looking at a significant, potentially, system, a northeasterly rain and gale system coming in from the north again. This affects Northland potentially quite significantly Tuesday and comes into Auckland either later Tuesday or during Wednesday. We may not need much rain in Auckland to see some impacts from a flooding or slip point of view. Now from an Auckland perspective, Wednesday details are not yet there and the timing is not yet firm, but we'll update you in the coming few hours and days around that potential for some impacts on Wednesday in Auckland.
3 civil defence centres have been stood up for those, or official Auckland civil defence centres. There are a number of community support centres that are open, including this one that we're at, for those that need to evacuate and cannot stay with friends or family. The evacuation centres are at St Leonard's Road School, 15 St Leonard's Road, Kelston, Massey University Albany Campus, Sir Neil Waters Theatre, and Manu Tutuku, 32 Riverton Drive, Randwick Park. There is support available to the people that need support. I encourage people to ring the Ministry of Social Development's support line. The number is 0800 400 100. People may be eligible for a payment if they have had to leave home, were already away from home at the time of the emergency and can't return, or if they need help with food, bedding or clothing, and if they can't go to work.
We also have another support centre stood up at the Mangere War Memorial Hall, and we're working with our contacts in the community up in the north of the region to make sure that there is the provision to stand something up quickly if we need that. That we have a number of Auckland Council and supporting councils from outside of Auckland helping us out on the ground do our building assessments. So there is 130 assessors on the ground working in 65 teams covering a wide area from Wellsford right down to Pukakui today. Rapid building assessments take about 20 minutes each, but teams are issuing placards when required, so where there's very obvious damage that will need some level of follow-up, they are able to do that, and leaving information for homeowners. As information comes through from the teams on where damage is most concentrated, we're able to move more teams into those areas to affect those assessments happening more quickly. And so teams will keep working as long as we can today and into tomorrow as long as it's safe to do so.
One of the key things that insurance companies have relayed to us that it would be good to get out there is that it's really important people take good photos of the evidence of the damage that's occurred to their homes and their properties. That'll be really helpful. It's understood that quite often people will need to get in there and get underway with cleaning up their homes. So take those photos, make sure you've got that on hand for dealing with your company, and do make contact with your insurer as soon as possible. There might be some delayed times getting through to call centres because of the sheer volumes, but please do reach out to those companies to begin the process.
We've had reports back from the power companies that about 98% of flood-related outages have been restored by Vector. Around 700 properties are still without power. Most of those will be restored today, but the exception of that is Kawau Island, which presents a few slightly more complex challenges. Water supply is of course a priority, it always is, making sure people have got fresh water to drink. We do have several water supply issues throughout West Auckland, and customers have been reporting low water pressure or no water or discoloured water in some cases. And we have got in place the reinstatement of some of that supply, particularly in the Titirangi and surrounding suburbs. After a 30-metre long section of pipe was washed away, there's been work done to fix that. and water tankers are on site to also support properties in that area while that return to service happens. We also have some reports in some other suburbs with supply issues, but staff are looking at that, no further breaks located at this point in time. In terms of wastewater network, of course, numerous overflows have happened throughout Auckland due to the wastewater networks and treatment plants being overwhelmed by stormwater. The most significant issue there is currently in the North Shore, where we're working to restore service to several pump stations. And we just ask and encourage people on the North Shore to reduce their water use, just to help reduce the volume of wastewater leaving their properties at this current time. And we'll continue to provide updates on that situation.
State Highway 1 from Puhoi to Warkworth was fully opened overnight and remains with a temporary speed limit in place. At State Highway 1, around the Lonely Track site, an overslip means that one lane southbound has been closed. It's been fully cleared of debris and the road is now actually fully open. Flooding and slips are now clear on State Highway 3 around Tikawiti, and State Highway 25 Thames to Coromandel is now open under a stop-go, so if people can be particularly patient in that area. On State Highway 1 over the Brindurwin Hills, a number of trees have come down and sizable slips have closed the highway from the State Highway 12 intersection to Waipu. We have multiple crews and geotechnical teams working to clear the road.
We know that flood-related waste is an emerging issue and that people have concerns about or are unsure what to do with their waste. We just want to assure Aucklanders that we have plans in place to make this cost effective and as easy as possible. If you need help removing storm damaged debris or contents from your property, please call 0800 22 2200.
People do need to be aware we're still in an emergency. There are still roads where there is serious flooding in place. We are likely to have heavy rain into this afternoon and evening as well. So the advice does remain to Aucklanders that to think carefully about journeys and just take those journeys that you really need to take. If you don't really need to take it, then do think about staying at home. And when you are on the roads, please be as cautious as possible. We want to keep people safe.